Hello, everybody, and you're welcome to another episode of the Coffee and Beans podcast. A big shout out to everyone who has listened to our previous episodes, the follows, the mentions. This encourages us to do more. I've always said that we will bring on exciting guests who will share their stories, and on this episode, I have someone who I admire a lot. I'm proud to call him my friend. His name is Tolu Ayeni. I call him PT. Now, Tolu Ayeni has a background in software engineering and business leadership before going into full-time pastoring as lead pastor of this green church. He believes that the church is the hope of the world, and there is nothing like the church when the church is working right. He believes individual Christians and the body of Christ can exercise God-given authority and power to succeed, lead, and have societal relevance. Welcome to the pod, PT.
Glad to be here, Shola.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. You?
Ade, I'm good.
Right.
I've always, I said, I've always admired you from far. I would always see the big things that TGC is doing, and my first question will always be, how is it like leading a movement of young people? I see that the largest the demographic of people you pastor are mostly young people in school. So how do you deal with that energy?
Okay. So yeah, our largest demographics was people in school.
Well,
but now those people
are evolving.
Yeah, they're evolving. Like, finishing school, getting new jobs, getting married, traveling. Yeah. So yeah, now we're even going back into campuses.
Okay.
To keep the channels open.
Right.
So thankfully now our strike is over. So yeah, so there's work to be done. All right. Yeah. So dealing with young people, dealing with us because we are also young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is interesting. This is where the energy is. This is where the passion is. This is where the dreamers are. For the more older people, sort of settled into molds. All right. But this is where the real work is, where we can actually shape the future of our country,
right?
And even the Church of God in Nigeria. So yeah,
right.
So it's exciting. It's challenging, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting because young people are daring. Young people ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
Young people are bold. Yeah. So with all that comes the challenge and the excitement. Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask that. Will the target of this green church always be young people? So of course you said as we grow older, as you create that channel, will there also be that thing where TGC would always be for young people, or you get to that point where you would evolve and start changing your focus to, will I say, older people?
I hope we don't. It's a trap we all get tempted to fall into.
Yes.
But once your church begins to age, you begin to fade. Yeah. So just do a scan around churches around you, and just you can project into the future. What happens to the older churches will happen again in the younger ones if we don't continue to fill ourselves with young people. Young people are the future of any society.
Of any society,
of any organization. So if we neglect that demographic, we are fading out. So we have to ensure that we don't even let it break for a minute. That we keep going back to the channel, keep feeding
the channel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my follow-up question will also be now, how do you convert that energy into nation building? Because in reading your profile, you are very big on relevance. Let's not just do church because we are doing church.
Yeah.
How are you able to channel that energy into nation building, into feeding the larger population of into the society as a whole, which is one. Two, how are you dealing, or how are you the word that has come to my mind is pivoting on or taking advantage of the current exodus of young people out of the country. But let's start with the first question. How are you dealing with channeling that energy of the young people that you are grooming, training, and inspiring to nation building?
Yeah. The first thing is theology. doctrine makes a believer. Doctrine shapes our outlook to life.
Right.
And what I've found is that somewhere in our doctrine as the body of Christ in Nigeria, we have missed something. So we are large in number, but very low in impact.
Yep.
And
yep.
it is a sobering reality.
It is actually.
So the question is this: Christ told his believers, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, beware of the doctrine of Pharisees, because the doctrine makes a man. Okay, the doctrine makes a believer. Doctrine shapes, our realities. So the first thing is this: is to get our doctrine right. What is God's concern for the nations? Does God care that people live well? Does God care that a country prospers? Does God care that the believer prospers? Does God care that the believer, makes change in a society? Once we can get that part clear, then we can begin to build on it, okay? What we have seen is that people have been so going to heaven conscious, they've lost touch of the earth. And, we're told to bring heaven down, not to run to heaven. Even Christ teaching his to pray, said, then will be done on the earth as it is in heaven.
Yep.
So our job is to culture the earth. Even Genesis 1, it was about the earth, not about heaven. God made man for earth. God didn't make man for heaven. Yeah. So when we get that part right, knowing that earth is the assignment, then we need to understand that, okay, whatever we do should have impact on our world. Christ says we are the salt of the heavens. Salt of the heavens?
Salt of the heavens.
I'm asking.
No, not the earth.
Salt of the earth. Light of the world. This is where our salt and light is needed. So if you put salt in a meal to show,
true.
If you turn on light in a room, you will know.
To know, yeah.
So if it's not seen that there is salt and there is light, then something is wrong with the light and the salt. And Christ says, if the salt does not salt anymore, it's worth nothing that we trampled on the floor like sand. So first verse is theology, okay? But we clearly make our people understand that if we are really light, it will show in our world. So yes, we preach the gospel. We are clear on what the gospel is. Christ died. Christ came, came sinful. He came, live the sinless life. Okay, carry the sins on our body. Okay, he died for our sins. He was buried, rose up again. That when we put our faith in his passion, his death, burial, and resurrection, that and we confess with our mouth that is our Lord, that we are saved. We are clear on the gospel. We are clear on the supernatural. We are clear on the power of God to heal. We see people get healed. We are clear on the supernatural in terms of seeing, hearing, and knowing. Our people are trained to see. They are trained to hear. They are trained to know. Now we begin to channel that also into how can I take God's power into my everyday endeavor?
Yes.
How does it show in my career as a creative that I hear God? So we channel those things in. We don't neglect the main things. People must be saved. Because the first thing first, to change society, you must change the people. To change the people, you must change their inside. Because it is first within before it is without.
Yes.
So we first change the person. How? The person should get saved first, ideally. Okay, we change the spirit, because when you get saved, you have a new spirit. So we change the spirit. Then we change the person's content of the mind, theology, how he thinks, how he sees the world. Because what you have within you will come out. That is how you can begin to change the people. That's one part. So there's a part of that, okay? There's also the part of us that are already changed and are being changed, making things happen as secular areas of influence. Getting involved in politics, in tech, in media, in fashion, just, betting that culture of God on our inside, betting it out every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So are there dogmas, doctrines that you find the people you are mentoring or pastoring having to struggle with? People, of course, they come with different mindset and thinking. So are there like certain mindset and theologies where you find your people struggling with, and it's like we have to do a serious sit down on this particular level of thinking that this person is thinking with, and how do you deal with that? My second question from the previous question was, how are you coping with the current exodus, and how you riding the wave, and the current tide of that?
So sincerely, first, it has been challenging. Leadership involves training people to do the work.
Yes.
So when those that are living the quickest are your upper demographic. No, there's problem. So it's a challenge of leadership. Okay, people that you spend a lot of years with training and all that.
Yeah.
People that could have helped you do more training other people also. So
have you tried to ever convince them to stay?
No.
Once they say I'm going, man, you're like, peace.
I only ask one question.
Are you sure?
Are you led? Are you led? Have you prayed about it? Are you sure? You know, job of a pastor is interesting. You can't tell someone, ideally, who to marry. You can advise them, Kenny, somehow.
But if they are bent on marrying that person, you
can only advise, and even that's going. Now you speak to people to the level of the authority over them. Now there are people that are more that you know that are more under your authority. People that you know from experience that I can tell him sit down and he will sit. Those once you tell them the full truth. This guy is a no-no. Others, pray about it. Yeah. So about relocation. There are people that you can tell, I'm not sure about this thing. I'm not sure. I'm not clear. No. There are people that you tell, are you sure? Person says yes, even though you don't agree. Peace be unto you. All right? Because it's tricky. Yeah, because we have to also remember that we're also humans. And we can make mistakes. So I cannot lead you on my leading.
Yep.
Because when anything happens, I'm responsible for what happens to you. So
you are the one that told me to.
Yeah. So I just ask. I teach clearly on this thing. Okay. Everybody knows what we teach. Pray about it. Don't be led by social media. Don't be led by friends. Don't be led by relatives. Don't be led by desires. Also, make sure your desires are in line with God's plan for your life. Okay. Yeah. Once they said they are sure, I bless it. Okay. There's young people that before they came to tell me office, I know they're going to come and tell me. So this person want to see you. I knew that. It's delicious abroad. You know. So yeah, I just do it. So I like I already knew where you're going to tell me because God speaks to us too. There are people also that okay, while talking to me, God already told me that say, let him go, we'll come back. So yeah, we have to hear God a lot in these matters, okay? But yes, so what we now do is to we have to ride the wave. Now there are ways we can stop, and there are those we ride. Christ stopped one wave, another one he rode it, he walked on it. So there are ways we can stop, and there are waves we can only ride.
Right.
So you have to know which one you can stop and which you can ride. When you can't stop it, can you ride it? So what we are doing right now is to ride the wave. So what we are doing is to now, for example, thank God that UK is the most inviting location.
Inviting right now.
So
yes.
it kind of helps us to know that okay, there is still a place where people are concentrated. Yeah. So we are working on the UK expression. We are actively on it. Our people meet once in a while, but we are working on the UK expression. I plan to be mobile between both countries. Right. The goal is to be very, very mobile between. That's the overall vision right now. Okay. Be able to go and come back, often. So I can oversee here and also oversee there because a past must be present.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one. Yeah. Then also, it's also good because if our people in other countries that earn in foreign currencies can see a need to sponsor a vision here, then we can do a lot more. So if someone gives you £200, that's a lot of money in Naira.
Yeah.
So that can probably sponsor bus transportation from any school in Lagos to church. What we're planning right now is how to make sure that people over there see the need to keep funding the work over here. So we're not using that now deliberately go back to our channels, young people in campuses.
Right.
Yeah. So the plan is to feed and mentor that demographic with the upper demographic. Okay. Those in the UK, those in the US, those in Australia, to sponsor the movement in those places, with our upper. So those people sponsor movement. They also mentor the movement. In fact, there's a school in Lagos where the nursing school, and they pay a lot of money for nursing school. And they all said that their plan is to jackpot with their nursing school. So what do you do? You don't fight that, you ride it.
Yeah, you ride it.
So our plan for them is to help them make it happen.
How do you mean make it happen?
We have people in the UK.
Okay.
We help you settle.
To help them, okay.
Just once you finish, we'll help you work that channel. We don't fight it. We'll help you make that dream happen. Because again, if you spend 740K or that kind of money to get into school, you are not, I asked them, I said, how much does the average nurse get in Nigeria? And they said that the big ones get 150K.
Monthly?
Yes, the big ones. The ones, that's not, I don't know how true, but that's what I was told. That is what they told me. I don't know how true. So that means obviously that, okay, you cannot wish them.
Yeah.
So what we do? So we ride the wave, okay? So our job is to help you reach your God-given dreams. Okay?
Right.
Not to help you define your dream.
To
help you
as a vehicle.
To help you identify it and help you, not define it, help you identify it and help you to reach it. So we plug in those gaps. If your God dreams for this country, we have to make it happen, okay? Because again, Daniel was in where was Daniel? Babylon.
Babylon, yeah.
Joseph was in Egypt, so yeah, we can help you make it happen.
Okay, so speaking about your people moving to countries, because I know that, I mean, you talked about the UK, and I'm like, are there any other countries where you also feel like, no, not country, is it just going to be Lagos and the UK, or are you also looking at other parts of Nigeria where the impact of your ministry and TGC can be felt?
Well, we have to have big dreams or focus part time.
Right.
Focus where our resources and our manpower are in those seasons. So
okay.
For now, our manpower is majorly in Lagos and in the UK. So we are focusing there. But again, vision expands.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen that I have to respond to, that we have to write. So over time, yes, we want to have, large influence nationwide, right? But currently, our current target now is the UK and Lagos.
Lagos.
People outside Lagos are coming to Lagos. People in Lagos are going to the UK. So let's just.
I see that there's a gathering in Abuja.
Yes, yes, there is a gathering in Abuja, but it's on it's like testing something there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not something that you think will evolve into.
Again, it's about manpower because again, starting something in new cities, it's you have to build some manpower in that
True.
location because it's not just coming together on Sunday. That's your manpower to disciple them. So it's a dream that we are nursing and testing. Okay,
right.
But right now, based on current happenings in Nigeria now, and narrowing down as it is now, Lagos and the UK, because UK is now our second Nigeria home. So
so which leads me to another question, which is why is there a large concentration of? I mean, so when you were starting TGC, were you concerned about the fact that there were so many churches in
Lagos?
Yes. How much impact will what I'm bringing to the table be? And did you think of course I know you were working with the leading of the Spirit, but did you think about, okay, should we do Ibadan, should we do Abeokuta, should we do other sort of cosmopolitan cities that is away from Lagos, or you were told Lagos is where you should set up?
Now, the way God works these things then is that if you overthink these things for God, you will miss it.
Yeah.
Is it that feels like there are too many churches in Lagos? Did God tell you that there's many churches in Lagos?
Do you think there's too many churches in Lagos?
Yes, I think so. But does God think so? No, but I agree absolutely. There are many churches in Lagos, but does God think so? I don't think he thinks so. Because God doesn't measure in numbers, he measures in impact.
Yep.
So if what is it the way it is right now, maybe we're not enough. Maybe we're not doing. Maybe we're not enough doing it right.
Is it a question of quantity or quality?
Possibly both. But we have to ask God for clarity on that. Okay. So what we all do is just do what God sends us. Okay.
Yeah.
If we bother too much about the next person, you get stuck. Just focus. Just focus on your lane. Serve God on your lane. You later find out why He called you there. All right. Yeah. You'll find out as you go on. You might never know at the beginning why. As you go on, you find out more about. Okay, this is why I'm in Lagos. This is why I'm in Lagos. Okay. So yeah.
So what would you say is the greatest challenge / misconceptions about being a pastor in Nigeria, or let's say Lagos?
Well, some people think we do nothing but show up on Sunday and just
and wear fine suits
and just talk.
Just yarn.
Yeah, just talk. We're running a church like running a company. A pastor, that is the lead pastor of a church right now. You're a CEO. You're a CEO running a volunteer organization.
Yeah,
that is a lot more challenging than people think it is. You're not paying, especially at the beginning, you're not paying people to work, you're motivating them to work. Yes. So you're a CEO of a volunteer organization. So you don't just appear on Sunday. For Sunday to work, Monday I have to work. Tuesday I have to work. Because there has to be a generator that is working. There has to be light. There has to be equipment. There has to be people to man those things.
Yeah.
There has to be an environment for them to mount it. The ACs have to work. Okay? Manpower, resources, gadgets, money. Yep. So you are running a full... It's not just coming on Sunday morning to preach. even preach on Sunday morning, you must have been preparing for Monday.
For Monday, yes.
Yes. And you are, again, people think it is just talking. We are coming to talk as an oracle of God. It's not just mere speech. We are coming to say, I heard God. This is what God would have me tell you today. That is such a big responsibility to come, because again, doctrine makes a man. People will live their lives based on what you are teaching.
What you are teaching, yes.
So it's not just what we just appear to say. It comes a lot of responsibility, the feeling of the weight of knowing that people are coming here this morning to hear God.
Do you believe that pastors have bastardized that privilege? Not a privilege. The like you said up in now that is very humbling, where it feels like the weight of hearing God. People listen to your every word.
Yeah.
And do you believe that has been bastardized?
I think we are focused too much on people's mistakes. Men of God are men. Men of God are men. We are also believers like you're a believer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are not anointed to be extra believers. We are still believers. Do you get? So we are still prone to the same mistakes. Now, what is now more interesting is that we are now even much more exposed to our mistakes blowing up.
Yes.
So it's why if a mistake is, we all make the same mistakes. But an emoji's own, is more
out there.
It's more out there.
Yeah.
So so I think we are focused, because even those that people think about that stuff, many times it's because people did not hear them properly. Or you heard me once and you thought you heard my doctrine about something. Even when you read the Bible, okay, you have to read the balance of scripture to understand what is saying about the topic.
Yeah.
If you only read one chapter, one verse,
you'll
be thoroughly misled. So it's why also people hear a 5-second or 1 minute snippet and they say the man has bastardized something. You have to hear me totally on the topic before you say I've bastardized clinic. So I feel like, yes, there will be those that bastardize this. Again, for every original, there must be fakes.
Yeah.
So there will be that, but I think that there's too much focus on the mistakes people make. All right? Even people that make mistakes, they come back and make corrections. People still get better. So I feel like if we, if Christ had counted so much mistakes, Peter would not be in ministry.
True.
Peter had no right to be in ministry. If God was going to judge him by, the mistakes. Because even when he came up Apostle Peter, he still made an hypocritical mistake. When, Paul had to confront him So God has grace for our mistakes. So we have to just allow ourselves a little more forgiveness, a little more mercy. All right? Yeah.
Okay, I mean, so sorry to have derailed the conversation on. Back to your greatest. Do you believe that pastoring in another country or another continent will be is a lot easier? Will be a lot easier than pastoring in Africa?
I don't think so.
Do you think it's the same challenges?
You face different ones. People have problems everywhere. People have problems everywhere. I believe that every society has its own peculiarity of challenges.
Right.
And sometimes peculiar demons.
Yeah.
So Africa's demons actually manifest in poverty, bad leadership. Yeah. Now check other parts of the world and just do a brief brain search about what they go through. You find out that they have their own peculiar demons too. What would you say about societies where a teenager can just say, I'm meant to be a guy, I want to be a girl. And they applaud it. Yeah, it's coming out to be a girl. Now, that is highly insane. But to them, in some parts of of the world, there is just accepted.
Just
now,
cool, yeah.
So when you get there, so you have to bust that kind of thinking. So every situation, every place has its own peculiar level of problem. So yeah, I think you stay in the same faith everywhere. Working with God, hearing God, solving problems by His power. They'll be the same everywhere, but in different contexts. So I don't think it will be necessarily easier. I think it's, yeah.
Because why I ask is, so when TGC fully establishes in the UK, what will your message in Lagos be the same as what you would say to your people in the UK, or will you have to pecularize it to each not demographic now? Would you have to pecularize it to each person in each country?
Same message, different context. Same faith, different examples. Yeah, so same message, same faith, same Holy Spirit, same grace, same gospel, same everything, okay? But narrowed down to the context with which, we are faced with. Yeah. So
deep.
every leader has to narrow down the problems of his world, of the world he finds himself, and then interpret grace, in the context of the problems we find there.
Yeah.
The context, the people, the problems, their hopes, their
Their
dreams.
hopes, yes.
Yes.
So TGC is how old? Huh?
We're 4 in June. So yeah.
Wow, congratulations on that. What I want to ask, so did you find since your demography is constantly evolving, do you find the content of your messages changing as the years go by, or it's still or it's still, do you find it like you said, different expressions?
Yeah.
Grace, same grace, different expressions, yeah.
Yeah. We've been fortunate to always have a student population, even alongside our working class population.
Yes.
Right? So what we have to do is to make sure that in everything we touch both parts. Okay, so I play around both parts. Okay, what people working into here, or students here. So we play around. We make sure that we feed, again, same sermons, same message, but we try to touch, how it applies to different people, different phases of their lives here. So yeah.
Okay. How did TGC start? Because the first time we met was at the Daystar Business Forum.
Yeah.
You're about starting a business called Nerve.
Yeah.
Was it Nerve?
Yeah.
Yes, Nerve.
Yeah, you have a good memory.
This was 2008.
Yeah, that was
2008, 2009.
2009.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did and then fast forward years later, you were with the Daystar Star Hub.
Yeah.
And then there was Pray with Tolu Ayeni.
Yeah.
And then
Guy.
No, I
know.
no. I tell you that I'll be following your story now. So there was Pray with Tolu Ayeni, and then I see TGC. Please, give us more background. How you moved from Tolu Ayeni, the software engineer, Nerve, across the years, and then all to TGC. How did that trajectory?
Yeah,
go?
There are things you do, and there's who you are. There are things you do, but there's who you are. Yeah. So I've always known the ministry from when I was a child.
Wow. Were your parents pastors?
No. Well, I would, myself at home.
Were they church people?
Yeah, they were church people. My parents were. I was born a church boy.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I would, by myself alone in the house, set up a altar, imaginary altar, and preach. And just preach. I would get to children's church. I would go and stand on the podium. I imagine that they brought all the kids for me to preach to. This was age 5, 6, 7. I was stand and imagine that they brought all the kids there for me to. I would just imagine it. I would watch Pastor Chris Ayaki flowing the anointing, and I would just know that I want to do this also. I imagine they had this fellowship in my house that I would tell my mom, I want to lay hands. Like, no, she was, but you get the point. So yeah, I would tell mom I can feel the anointing. Yeah, so it has always been there. Yes, I always knew I was pastor. And over the years, even when I was in school, when I was in secondary school, even when I was in quotes bad, people still call me pastor.
I'm going to say, did you lead any fellowships in school?
Well, in secondary school, no. Secondary school, I didn't like church. But people still call me pastor. I don't understand it. Like they could smell something. Even when I was escaping church, people still call me. So I think it oozes out.
It oozes, yes.
Yeah. Then in university, okay, I got born again. Actually, really born again before uni. Okay, so when I got into uni, I was straight into church. In fact, I came for church.
Okay, what university?
Daystar.
What university?
Yeah, I was in LASU.
LASU, okay, all right.
Yeah. So I served under Daystar Campus Fellowship.
Right.
Yeah. My first roles there were Bible study and prayer secretary. I became vice assistant pastor.
Right.
Yeah. Then that was what I did on campus. Assistant pastor. And I led the prayer team for the joint body.
Right.
At some point. So yeah. So I've always been in ministry since university. Actually, actively since my uni days. So yeah, after uni, my plan was to go straight into pastoring, but the bridge I planned, in the organization I was serving in, the bridge was removed. Yeah, I planned to, let us cast ourselves online. But right.
Don't worry, you tell me after.
I will tell you. So the bridge was removed. So I just did what I know how to do best. Okay. I think I'm very smart, so I learned things very fast.
Yeah.
I learned my tech myself. I was self-taught.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just went straight into coding, opened a business, and it began like that. But I always knew, there was something else there. And in 2016, we went to feel the big urge just leave it all alone. I didn't do because, of course, my family has to wait. But right, I went to feel the strong urge January 2016 to leave it. 2017 now came. They began Star Hub at Daystar.
Yeah, Star Hub, I remember.
And they came to look for me for something else. Guess what they came to look for me for?
To do their website or something.
Social media consultancy.
Consultancy. Yeah.
Why? I talk a lot on Twitter.
I remember. Yeah.
So to them, I was the
That
social
was
media guy.
influencer.
But thanks be unto God, right? That brought me right back into ministry.
So proud to that time, what were you doing?
Software. I was coding.
As in, were you involved in ministry?
I was leading a cell, but just connect, right? Yeah, I was leading a cell on fellowship then. So I was brought back to serve in the social media team and all that. But yeah, what really I would just pop up.
True.
So straight up, I found myself leading the prayer team. Okay, yeah, I was coordinating the prayer team of the Star Hub, flowing in power gifts again, getting people filled with the Spirit, casting out devils, impartations and all that. My research just sprang up again. Just. I remember my first time of Linux. Then I could almost feel like a bubble in my stomach, like that thing. Like finally you're back.
Welcome.
No, for real, I felt a bubble. I could feel like physically, I was feeling a bubble in there. Like it's been a while, guy. Welcome. Yeah. So it just came right.
So
back.
during that period, were you like suppressed? Did you suppress? Is it that prior to that time, the feelings you didn't feel that urge again to pastor, to lead people? Like you were just okay with being in the.
I was okay. I had big dreams for Nerve.
Right.
I had very big dreams for Nerve. Yeah, I was okay, but at the same time, I knew at some point to leave it alone. But when you don't know what to leave it for,
yeah,
and there's no exact bridge between where you are and where you're going to.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do with the leading. I just kept on. Yeah.
You don't even think about going to Bible school at least or theology seminary.
Again, because of the way Bible schools are, there are only very few for a charismatic, for a Pentecostal, that you will not go and kill everything you know. Thank God now for Rema. Can I thank you?
Yeah.
In Nigeria, now in Lagos. Apart from that, the only very few that some of us can go to. You get, and that's another story for another day. Yeah.
Okay, so Star Hub, you're on Star Hub. How did Star Hub, being a Star Hub under Pastor Tola City?
Yeah.
How did that evolve to you starting the daily prayer meetings on Instagram to evolve into TGC? I remember one of these, I sent you a message. I said you're going to start a church soon. I just feel it. I sent you a message.
You're writing so much.
I sent you a message because one of those ones where I joined. I said you're going to start teaching. You're going to start a church. And he said, I think your response was, it was 2017 because my daughter was just born then. You said he be like or something very funny.
Yeah. Again, right?
Was the prayer thing on IG like a precursor?
No. Now the way I like to be very straightforward.
Right.
I don't like to disguise. Anything I do, I like to do it with my full intentions clear. So I was not trying to start this and carry. No.
That kind of thing. Let me just prepare them for.
No. Actually, I was advised to do so, but I said that's not my style. That when it's time to start, I will start TGC. Okay, this what happened. Okay, it was time to start. I knew it's time to start. Okay, I was advised to why not going slowly? Why not start doing this? Then start the church. But I felt like no, I will be using my influence over where I was serving wrongly. People there will follow me to my prayer meeting,
and then from there,
follow me to my church.
Did you ever did you have people from Star Hub follow you?
Of course, I did.
Was there any bad blood? Like, what's not bad blood?
No. But it's a good question. But from no. Thank God for people like Pastor, like Pastor Sam. The culture in Daystar is not allows you to let God lead you. All right. Even Daystar actually sends people with their pastors.
Yeah.
So, there was no any sort of bad, and they helped me find myself again. And I always be grateful for that, okay? It's amazing how God works.
Yeah.
Okay? I found, everything just came back. Then the nudge now suddenly rose very strong. Let me think, let me talk a bit more about that here. So that year, after we began to serve in Star, we got to a point where
This was 2016.
2017.
17. Okay.
We got to a point where got into a sort of boot camp. Only you know that you're in a boot camp. Only you know what's happening to you. I could do nothing else again with my life. I could only pray. You don't understand it. I can't explain it, but I could only pray. I'll be in a room with people and I'll just feel like getting under the chair. Just to go and pray. When one could see me, I was a prayer machine. You stay around me, then you vibrate. I was in a boot camp. You stay around me, even if I keep quiet, you enter that room. And it's like you see. So got into a boot camp, got kind of use that period to shed, to like a bridge between my past and what is taking me into. So I began to feel this nudge to start. But again, it's not what normal people do, start a church. Really, who would you tell? Why? For, So but I just knew that, we had to. And it was urgent. We just, 2018, June, we were doing this. And thank God for where we were. They allowed us expression. They thought, okay, they blessed us. We can
go. Wow. Tell me more about your first Sunday as lead pastor of TGC. What was the experience like?
Yeah, it was good. It was my house. Yeah, it was my house. It was my living room. It was really good. We had a good turnout. It was good.
It was was it more of a okay, now I'm actually doing this, like this reality has set in and we are going in. So what's your relationship with Pastor Tola? You guys still cool?
We still talk for 2 hours yesterday night.
Shout out to Pastor Tola CD.
That he can still. I thank God for who he has put in my life.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded with good people, not just them being pastors. They are good men. Yeah, so I'm surrounded with a lot of good men for counsel, for mentorship, and all that. So we are good. We are very good.
I want to speak on you talked about the NGO. I mean, pastoring is being like the CEO of an NGO. Do you see yourself opening up business making ventures in like affiliated to you, Tolu Ayeni as a brand? And what do you think about clergymen doing such? Like, so you have a Tolu Ayeni ministry, to whatever it is called, which is which is piggybacking on pastor of TGC, but then you have a ministry that churns out books, does podcasts, the money making. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it is brilliant if well done. Okay, because again, there are things that you might need to do that you might need to actually just branch out like that. Apart from so you're not just using ministry resources, what you can actually personally do. And for some, it's a way of also God blessing them financially also.
Right.
And I think it's brilliant. Okay, if God so leads you, wonderful. Right, but personally, I'm not there yet. I feel like again, when you work with God, you have to open possibilities. Is it possible? Very possible. Very possible. I'm not there. I'm not there yet. I'm in the phase right now. No, we all have different personal stories. I'm in the phase where I'm having to leave my catching fish like Peter for catching men.
Catching men, yeah.
So I'm not. I don't feel like that between me and God, I'm ready to play with fish and men at the same time because I like fish. So God had to yank me from fish.
What a way!
God is still yanking me.
He's
still. So there's still some tussle there.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that He wants me to go and play with fish now. So maybe when I'm fully healed from fish, maybe when I can fully manage together.
Yeah.
Maybe then, or maybe God just let me just do the one He has sent me to, and I want to do something else. There's a possibility.
What would you say to your young person who is currently in doing a 9-to-5 nursing dreams, but has that burning desire to start a ministry or something calling to a special thing that they feel, they know that God has called them to. But of course, they're scared. I mean,
Yeah.
I tell people that I worked in 9 to 5 for about 8 years. But I knew I always knew I was going to start my own business. But there was just that fear of going to the from the known to the unknown. But this one now is even a different ball game. It's ministry. It's like you said, is a non-profit. Oh, it's not profit. Despite the glamour of pastoring that they make it look like now, like it's great.
Yeah.
It's pretty much walking on water.
Yeah.
And hoping you don't sink. So what do you tell that young person listening to the pod right now that knows? I know it's not that someone pastor was walking the road and say, I know, but I'm currently not in that space right now. But I know that I need to make this jump because the water is being stirred. What would you tell that person?
Now, number one, no pastor wakes up in the morning and just admires the glamour. The glamour comes with responsibility. In fact, the more the glamour, the more the persecution sometimes, the more the work, the more the sacrifice, the more the temptations. So first, forget the glamour first. Yeah, just don't even think about it because that glamour comes with, Christ asked the disciples to, let's go and hide. They did a major crusade.
Yeah.
And he told them, let's go and rest somewhere. It took them to go and rest, meaning that, if you don't jackpot, if you don't go and hide somewhere, we cannot even rest. Next morning, all men seek thee. So it is cute when you don't have it. When you have it, you understand that it is a blessing, but also a challenge. So first, forget the glamour first, okay? Secondly, go and serve somewhere. You cannot claim to be called and just start, haven't never served. Go and serve somewhere. In fact, it's while serving that we'll find our real expressions. Yeah. While serving, you make relationships, mentorships, and all that. Just go and serve somewhere, okay? You have to be sure that, what God has given to you right now, you're even doing it well before you say you're looking for something bigger. Go and serve somewhere. It's okay to be number 2 in a place. Number 10 is okay. Okay? That number 1 position looks too fine until you are the one there.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks too cute.
Yeah.
Until it's you that is number 1. You don't understand that. Okay. Pastoring is sweeter when you're not the one pastoring. Pastoring is easier when you're not the one pastoring. When you are the one making those decisions every day, you're making decisions about people, resources, every day. Realize that it's a different ball game. So go and serve somewhere. Let your leadership ability be tested. Let it grow somewhere. Let your charisma try it somewhere else. Let it grow somewhere. Okay? And when it's time, you might have to leave your job. Ideally, you should not. Except God tells you to. You should start with both. Again, because because before your ministry work, ideally begins to be able to care for your needs. It might take a while. Even though God plans that those that serve the gospel should live off the gospel, is God's plan.
Yeah.
But in practicality, it doesn't just happen, tada. So if you can work somewhere, continue what you're doing, up until when you don't need to anymore, fantastic. But if God so leads you to leave everything, you have to obey the leading, right? But when it's time, just believe God. Take the jump. You have to walk on water.
Yeah.
Because even the biggest ministry right now, they are still all walking on water. You just don't see it because they've gotten so used to walking on water. You're not seeing it.
You're not seeing that anymore.
Everybody in every phase of life, if you walk with God, even in any sphere of life, you're gonna walk with God. You have to be comfortable walking on water. So just you're getting your own first shot walking on water, but you'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Thank you so much, PT, for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I really where do we for those of us that want to reach out to you on social media, how do we find you? How do we find TGC?
Okay. I'm Tolu Ayeni on IG, Tolu Ayeni on Twitter. Then you have this Green Church everywhere. This Green Church everywhere. IG, Twitter, Facebook, this Green Church. Yeah.
Where do you meet?
Okwebi 30B, Okwebi Road, just beside Spectranet.
Okay. Do you mentor? Do you like personal mentoring? Do you have like personal mentoring?
Yeah. I'm open to answer people's questions.
Right.
But again, I find that it is easier to mentor people that you are teaching.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because for you to have context, you should have been taught. You get I cannot I tell people I cannot fix you in 1 hour. People come to me for prayer, I pray for them, right? It works, right? But I cannot change you. I cannot disciple you over a prayer meeting, over a chat.
Yeah.
People come to me and I'm like, see, people call me daddy and all that are not CGC members and all that. But I sadly tell them I cannot father you remotely. You know, you might, if you're not listening to my sermons, if you're not feeding on this, am I really fathering you? So the best way to do your mentors ideally should be those where you serve, where you feed, where you serve. You know, they're your best mentors. So even for those that are away in other parts of the world, you join the services online. You listen to the sermon. That is the real discipleship. You know, for me, I preach at least twice a week.
A week, yes.
So if you follow me for a year, you would have heard about 1 and something sermons.
Yeah, 1 and 4.
Do you understand? That is not what I can tell in 1 hour. That is what it's like a school, a curriculum. Yeah. So God leads me on what to say for 1 and something sermons. That is the real disciple. That is the real mentorship. Okay. So if you have that, you can ask me questions. It's easy, but not when you just ask me questions. I will answer you. It will work, right? But it can be compared to that long-term relationship, right? Christ taught disciples for 3.5 years.
Word. Thank you so much, PT. Like I said, I've followed you since. I followed you. You're my friend.
Yep.
And I mean, even when you don't know that I was following you, I mean, I admire
your attention a lot.
Yeah, I admire your journey. Your journey is an admirable one. I respect the big things and the good things you're doing at TGC, and I want to say, well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, Shola. I enjoyed this.
Very, 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 very honored. And so that was a very exciting episode with Tolu Ayeni. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at Coffee Beans Pod, COFFEEBENSPOD. I have a day job. Find us at Outspoken Clothiers, OUTSPOKN CLOTHIERS. My name is Adesola Balogun. Until the next episode of the pod, drink coffee, stay inspired.